Great people, welcome back to Global Happenings. Today we're so excited to have you again. It's no longer news that Rochas Okorocha is now in the custody of EFCC. Some few days ago, we saw what happened in his Abuja residence, where EFCC, for many people, really misbehaved because they had to scale the walls of his house, pass through, the ceiling, and it was really out of place, despite the fact that the lawyers of Okorocha came out with a court restriction to arresting, Rochas Okorocha and all of that. So that issue has been pending. A lot of supporters of Okorocha have been crying out, why are they still keeping him in the custody of EFCC? If he has been arrested, he should be taken to court and the case be handled. But right now, the breaking news that we have is that EFCC has moved Okorocha to court. And according to the news, amidst heavy security by its operative, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC) has brought the former Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha before a federal high court in Abuja for arraignment over 2.9 billion naira corruption charges. Okorocha was driven to the court premises at about 8:45 a.m. and was immediately led to the courtroom. Dressed in his usual green color agbada with a brown cap to match, the All Progressive Congress presidential aspirant, who is wearing a pensive mood, was made to sit near a dock where his plea on the fraud charges against him will be taken this morning. His usual smile and waving of handkerchief to admirers are completely absent in his mood in the courtroom. Some of his family members and political associates who are in court ahead of his arrival could not get direct access to him due to heavy security mounted around him. The aides comprising former commissioners, among others, are however milling around to catch a glimpse of the senator representing Imo West in the Senate. His late counsel, Mr. Kehinde Ogunwumiyiju, a senior advocate of Nigeria, has also arrived in court with retinue of other lawyers. At the time of this reporting, Justice Ian Edemekwo, who is to handle the case, is being awaited in the court. However, the court registrar and other workers are already on their seat. Okorocha was forcefully arrested on Tuesday in his Abuja residence by EFCC as part of efforts to ensure his appearance in court today. It will be recalled that Justice Iyankwo of the Federal High Court Abuja had on Monday, March 28, issued a threat to strike out the 2.9 billion naira money laundering charges against Okorocha should the federal government fail again to cause his appearance in court. The judge had threatened to throw out the charges following the inability of the federal government to serve charges on Okorocha as required by the law. At March 28 proceeding, the federal government, for the second time through its counsel, Mr. Cosmos Ogo, had told Justice Ekwo that he has not been able to see Okorocha and serve him with the charges. The federal government's charges against Okorocha, dated January 24, 2022, was signed by one A.O. Ikota on behalf of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC). Okorocha, who is currently a senator representing Imo West in the National Assembly, is to face trial alongside six others in the 2.9 billion money laundering criminal charges. The senator is being put on trial by the federal government on 17-count charges involving criminal diversion of public funds and properties. Whoa. This is a serious thing. When this case came up, most people were kind of looking at it from the perspective of witch hunting. Some few days from now, the APC primaries will be holding in precisely June 4 to 6. It's going to be holding. And with this development, I seem to look at Okorocha's case as it's going to be turn to the case of Dagogo, who was also vying for governorship position in Rivers State. All of a sudden, he was being lured into something he didn't expect, that he was the one who brought hoodlums to where they were doing PDP primaries for senatorial seat. So I think senatorial seat or House of Assembly seat, and he was the one that fronted those guys, and because of that, they wouldn't allow him to go. Unfortunately, Dagogo, as we are talking, is still facing, the court case right now. Though I know that he's at liberty if at the end of the day he comes out free from all the charges brought against him. I feel he's at liberty to call for that primaries again, because he was not disqualified by the screening team. So I feel he has the right to take them to court, PDP to court, PDP in River State to court, and tell them that they have to reschedule or they have to refix a date for that primaries because he wasn't around, and it was because of ill treatment given to him for something he did not know about. But right now, let's look at Okorocha. Okorocha's case is almost like his own, because he may likely, with this situation on ground and with the fact that EFCC has been longing to arrest him, it's going to be really difficult for him to be part of what is actually happening in APC presidential, primaries. And if he doesn't feature automatically, that will have to be another time, which I don't even know if he will have opportunity. As of today, there had already been a report that someone has been appointed, an APC senatorial aspirant for Imo West has already been selected. So he's going to represent the senatorial district that Okorocha is currently representing, which means no hope for Okorocha if that's political hope for Okorocha if he doesn't pull through this case today and be released for him to face his presidential aspiration. So the whole thing is going to look very unwise on the part of the federal government, because most people will think that they're like witch hunting him. Some will be thinking that after all, there's a court the order to that effect that EFCC shouldn't arrest him and all of. So the case is going to be overly bogus. I'm wondering how he's going to handle it, and if APC will have to wait for him to be through with his case so that he can be part of the primaries. It's really a serious situation, but thank God he's in court today. We are hopeful that everything will pull through, because according to the last interview granted his lawyer, there were myriads of court orders from court of competent jurisdiction warning EFCC not to do anything like arrest or even to bring him to trial, but with what the ECWA is going to be saying today, we will know the standpoint of the federal government and also the standpoint of Okorocha in respect to the case. We will be following up with the case and we'll bring you full details of it when the time comes. That's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section. Let's interact. What's your position on the issue of Okorocha being dragged to court?